Hello and welcome to This Naked Chat, a podcast where six friends from different walks of life come together for honest, unscripted conversations about living alcohol-free and everything that comes with it. We all met at a live event hosted by Annie Grace of This Naked Mind in March of 2024. What started as a mastermind group with the six of us and Annie turned into some really deep friendships, filled with connection, tough conversations, and a lot of laughter. And after a year of growing and learning together, we realized that these conversations might help more than just us. So here we are, no scripts, just real talk. We are incredibly grateful to Annie and This Naked Mind for helping us get this off the ground and for the impact that her work has had on each of our lives. I am Brian, and I am joined by Kori, Agnes, Judi, Jenie, and Sammie. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Brian.
We should mention that, because now I just draw it out of a hat, but maybe if someone's just listening for the first time, they're like, what are you doing, you goofball? And yeah. So I'm going to draw.
So you're going to explain to them that our shtick is for you to draw it out of a hat?
Yeah, I'm going to be like, hey. Yeah.
Or if someone is watching and they have a question, is there a place they can put that information? Do we have
a question
place
to put into the hat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Put it in the chat.
We'll think,
put it in the chat.
Right? Think on that.
Don't you watch these podcasts?
In the comments?
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Put it in the chat.
See the link below. Don't you watch these things?
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. We're not that sophisticated, but whatever.
Here it is. Let's see what this says. Why is it so dark in here today? Oh boy. Why do I always I cannot stop doing it.
You can't preempt
I will never
this
read
with your
it.
comment.
Yep. Spirituality and what it means to us.
Oh. Did we talk about that? Wasn't that what we brought up at the end of last week's conversation?
I think this is perfect, and I did not do this on.
You know what that means? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
It's the Judi
Because you're
show.
right.
I take it. No, I just mean that's like, wow.
Yeah, it
It's
is. It is kind of where we ended up. We're like, this would be interesting to discuss. And then look what happens.
Yeah, because we talked about trusting ourselves and others. So,
see, there.
You didn't just make it up. You're proving to us you didn't make it up.
Is that your writing, Brian, or somebody strange?
No, that's my writing.
All right, we didn't. We
do need more topics, but all right.
Okay.
Anyone put this in? Spirituality and what it means to us.
I didn't.
I don't remember.
I know. I should.
That was
too long ago. Maybe put names on these. And now that we're going to get so many from our audience because Jenie or Judi, said
put it in the chat.
I know. Put it in the chat.
I like to do this.
Like and
put
subscribe.
It in the chat.
Like and
put
subscribe.
it in the chat. Wait till I have my own YouTube channel. You guys are going to stroke out.
Oh my God. We need to make that happen. That would be awesome.
I do my own YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
All right. Who wants to kick us off?
Put it in the chat.
You want me to put this in the chat?
Go, Brian. Kick us off. What is
no, I don't want to kick this one off.
All right. I don't want to either. I like commenting on these things.
Okay, it's you and I, Kori. Oh, dear God.
Well, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this because for the longest time, I did not know what that word meant. I just didn't get it. And because I didn't understand, because people kind of refer to it like it's religious adjacent or like faith adjacent or something. And I didn't understand it for the longest time. So finally, I don't know, it was like a few months ago, I think I got comfortable with spirituality being like things that I don't understand, things that I can't explain, just things that are, and like being okay with not understanding them. And like when I think about spirituality, I think some of what comes up for me is that whole things that I can't explain, but also like kind of the feeling of awe and wonder of like, when I'm like outside, I get that feeling a lot, when I'm looking at a beautiful scene, sometimes even like, photography, I get that feeling of like, I can't explain why I have this feeling of this awe and how beautiful this is and how connected I feel to all of this. So that's kind of spirituality to me, because I just feel this like, I don't know, this kind of connectedness to the rest of the world and especially the natural world. And it doesn't have to be like, I think the thing I got comfortable with is like, I don't have to have some explanation for everything. I don't have to like say that, it's God or the universe, or I don't have to give it a name. I can just be okay with like, hey, there's a bunch of cool stuff out there that I don't get. It makes me feel good. And I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. So
I think I like that kickoff, because the definition I just found was spirituality is the search for meaning, purpose, and a connection to something larger than oneself. And then it says, which can be personal and internal or expressed through organized religion. So kind of what you're saying there is like, it's a little bit different for everyone, which is interesting.
And well, so what I find interesting is when people are exploring the possibilities of not drinking anymore and all of that, a lot of people that I've noticed, they turn to some form of something outside of them, whatever that may be, if that is the church or the universe or any other type of spirituality, like whatever it is, but there is something outside of them that they're looking for comfort.
But what does it mean to you, Agnes? Never mind other people, your observation.
Yeah. Well, to me, again, it means, well, I go to church. So for me, it's God. So that's what spirituality, I've tried it. So when I stopped drinking, I did do all these different programs or listen to different types of podcasts and all this other stuff that it was all about spirituality and Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, and all this other stuff. Like I tried that all. But there was still something missing for me. And again, like Kori said, it's like, I don't know what it was. It's this feeling. So I guess it just goes back to my heart. It's like, what am I feeling in my heart? And that's when I reintroduced going to church for myself. And that was a place where that I felt full. And again, can't really explain why. And I don't even know if church is what I like. But there's something there that, again, it's hard to explain, obviously.
Had you been out of it for a while, Agnes?
Oh, I was out of it for many, many years. I actually was against it.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we go to the human being, right? We are intellectual, we're emotional, we're physiological, and the other leg of our little seat is our spiritual, right? So that is part of who we are. And as we grow and develop, just as we have emotional intelligence and we develop emotionally, just as we develop chronologically, physiologically, intellectually, so also do we develop spiritually, right? And the fact that Kori says, well, I don't have to explain it. I just know that I can go out and I have this huge quality of being when I'm out in the woods or when I'm doing whatever. That is your spiritual self really basking in the wonder of creation, right? Like we can feel it emotionally, all that, but our spirituality is what gives us the quality of life. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how we choose to express that spirituality, Like I too go to church, and I would be lost without that. I have a huge everyday connection with God, and I chit chat with him all the time. And because we're created, I mean, I could go biblical, but I won't. But I mean, we are created as spiritual beings, right? And we're created in the image of somebody bigger than us. So we resonate with that, and we want bigger than us, and we want purer than us, because this humanness sometimes isn't all it's cut out to be, right? And it's better to have a little bit of something bigger than us.
So that's where the hope and the belief, that
from.
all comes into play. And then when you connect that with your heart, because that's where the love and compassion and grace and all of that will come up, then that's what you're evolving into, whatever that is. You connect those two together, and that's where, I guess, the knowing and all of that comes from. That.
What do you think, Brian? What does it mean to you?
I think I'm exploring this again, kind of to Agnes's point, and this has been a recent thing. Like, there's things out there that I've been trying to explain that I haven't been able to do. So like, I'm like, man, there's, do I just, and I can just accept that. But like, I was raised Catholic, and at some point was like, I don't like this necessarily anymore. And then was kind of basically like, I don't like any of it anymore. And now it's kind of, that's why I like that definition of like, it's kind of now a more, and to Judy's point of we kind of grow in this a little bit. It's like, okay, just be a little open-minded and curious about this now is where I probably am. It's like, I'm like, I don't have the answer. I don't know what it is for me right now. But I'm willing to kind of be like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I also find is that it can change. Like it can evolve over time as well. Grow.
Well, as can your emotions, as can your intellect, right?
That's right.
Well, and I think, for me, and this is maybe one of the things with growing up with it, is it seems like everything else in life, right, is like we were kind of given this, like, this is what you do, right? So like I went to a Catholic elementary school up through 8th grade. And so it was just kind of like, here's what you believe. And then at some point, kind of like the rest of my life, I was like, man, I feel like I'm on someone else's path, right? Like, with same that I did with my career and, everything. I'm like trying to check all the boxes. And so I think to me, it's been similar to that of like, oh, that was my parents. That's fine. But maybe it wasn't a whole me, right? So now I kind of got to dabble around in that again and be like, all right, these parts were really cool. This little piece that I can't explain, it doesn't really resonate. So I need to find something else or at least explore that little area. And I can't even explain that right now.
But that's like 100,000% normal.
Yeah, right.
100,000% typical.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as you were talking, it made me think. I mean, it's great that you still have a curiosity. I mean, I feel like, unfortunately, what happens for a lot of people is that they get traumatized, right, by religious experiences, because for various reasons. I mean, like, all the way from like child sexual abuse, right, in the Catholic Church, even to just like having it shoved down your throat, and people get traumatized by that, and then they sort of, I feel like in reaction they kind of block all of that, right? And so then there's really not any room for curiosity to even bloom, which is unfortunate, because I do think there's like that curiosity is probably the most important thing about any of it, right?
And just to jump in there, because I have to, it's not just the Catholic Church that had all these situations.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. Yeah.
They're every big organized religion, every school system, everywhere that human beings have this issue.
Absolutely.
Right. So I just had to.
Yeah. What do you think of this? So I've thought of this a lot, and maybe this is kind of around spirituality. Even when I opened a gym, I was thinking it would be cool if this was modeled after like a church, because there are so many pieces specifically I'm thinking about, like the way that churches do community is unparalleled, right? You come together, say once or twice a week, whatever. You have small groups off of that. You're creating connection, and it's always around something, lifey, like life situations. Like, it's beautiful. At the same time, sometimes then it's strict. Like, you have to be, you're one of us, or you go to that other place. So, so it's kind of like that, like that piece of it is so beautiful.
Isn't that CrossFit, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. I've compared it to that before, right? But like the way that they do it is beautiful.
There's two things that I find with that. Well, first of all, I've noticed that people are open to spirituality now, all kinds, whereas back in the day it was very linear. It's one way or another way. You can't. Where now people are more open into, it's okay, maybe not judging as much as what spirituality is to them. So that's a positive thing, because then there's choice, right? And then that's what people want. They don't want to be controlled. But what I find, the other big part of it is when it comes to all these communities and connections, it's all positive. No one's going there to bitch and complain, and this is it, and it's the end of the world, and so did this, and so did that, and not my experience anyway. So you guys, if your experience is different, let me know. But it's positive. Like, you're going there, so it's almost like a relief. Whatever it is, if it's listening to a book or a podcast or anything, it's like there's just goodness that is being brought into your heart, because you turn on the news and it's all negative. So there's a place where you can actually just sit back and breathe.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've always had that experience. I've been to plenty of fire and brimstone kind of churches that is not positivity and light. So people have a variety of experiences for sure.
This episode is sponsored by This Naked Mind, a revolutionary approach to changing your relationship with alcohol. When it comes to your drinking, you don't have to hit rock bottom to want something different, and you don't have to do it alone. This Naked Mind blends neuroscience, psychology, and self-compassion to help you stop relying on willpower and start creating real, lasting change. No shame, no labels, and no rules. Whether you want to take a break, drink less, or stop drinking for good, This Naked Mind has a program that meets you where you are, with world-class coaching and a compassionate, judgment-free community to support you every step of the way. Learn more about This Naked Mind at thisnakedmind.com.
No, but the other part is we could also have a huge conversation about that, right? We could have a huge conversation, like if you wanted to really look at religiosity and divide it into chunks. I mean, our first God is our parents, right? So we have that little family church. And if that fails you, then that's going to screw you up for a while. But also we can have the discussion. There are how many denominations? I mean, if you're going to look at structured church, how many denominations? Well, I don't like what they do, so I'm going to start my own church. So they start their own church, and then comes the ego, and then comes all this and that.
I think it begs the question. I mean, what do you think about is, in the Venn diagram of spirituality and religion, I'm not sure that they're necessarily overlapping. I mean, it feels like there's some religions, right, at least in the way that it's practiced, that I wouldn't call it spspiritual. That's not what's happening there.
You could say they think it's spiritual, but it's not really feeding spirit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you could, there's,
Yep.
Well, I guess
Without-
they had I heard it somewhere and I don't even know, so don't quote me. But wars between anything, people, it doesn't matter, is religion and politics. Those are
Yeah.
the two. So religion is
Jihad.
right up there.
Yeah. And like to your point, maybe it's like when you take a really hard stance and you're not welcoming to others, which is probably the opposite of what it preaches, right? If like,
Exactly.
Of like if you're like, sure, I might not believe what you do, but you're still you.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know how to explain that, but I was much less open to this than I have been recently. And it's basically because of my upbringing, right? I was like, nope, I probably disagree 100% with you. And now it's a little more open to be like, what is it about that you live by or that you believe in? And that's the part that to me is fascinating, because it seems to all be kind of about life teaching type stuff and different ways to just kind of, I don't know, look at life, or I don't know how to,
Or you take the little parts of all of them and you just take what works for you, what brings you that peace.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it's, you don't have to become that hardcore one-sided person either.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to agree with everything the preacher said that morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. And everyone's going to hear it very differently too, because it all depends on where exactly they are in their journey and what lens they're looking through their past experiences. So they may not, whatever is being said, they'll interpret it completely different. So it's really learning about what feels right for you, that inner knowing, trusting in yourself.
Yes.
Can you?
That's a huge element to spirituality, I feel like, right? Like, if you're not trusting in yourself, then you're probably not, then it's hard to like tune into anything outside yourself.
But we also have to be careful in trusting in ourselves that we don't become God to ourselves.
Say more.
Because we can say, well, I can do this and I can do that and we are not all powerful beings. I thought I was once and I learned differently. And we are not all powerful beings. And part of spirituality is to reach beyond that. It's to reach beyond that, to say, I am dependent on other things. I am dependent on God. I can do nothing without God. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And if I were to turn away from God, my life would be crap because I've been there before. Right. And that's what, so we have to be careful that, I can do this. I'm almighty. I can do whatever I want. No, you can't. Stuff's going to happen in life and things get bigger. And that's why there's prayer. That's why there's all kind of stuff that connects us with a bigger being that our spirit can be connected with. I mean, Agnes knows the power of prayer. I know the power of prayer. And it's not magic. We're asking God, hello, help me solve this problem.
But don't you have to have a underlying trust in yourself to even know that prayer is the thing to do?
No, I have underlying trust that God hears it. I have an underlying, it's like, well, should I pray about this? What's it going to hurt? Number one. And my underlying trust is that, okay, this is a hard situation, or I don't know what to do here, or I don't know this, I don't know that. Well, I'm just going to trust that God knows the story, and I'm just going to hang in there until, I have to think about it. We are co-creators. We're not completely, because God's not a dictator. We are co-creators of our lives, right? So trusting in the fact that you co-create, but you're a co-creator. You're not you didn't create yourself, is what I'm saying.
So it's like, what I'm hearing is like, if you allow that ego to come in, And it doesn't matter what religion, spirituality, what anything that you follow, then that's not the same. Then that's no longer that. That becomes, I'm the power, I'm the everything. So it doesn't really, that's not being
Well,
true.
then you become your own church.
Yeah.
You become your own church, and you can go out and preach it and say, whoa, come here. You can be part of me in my own church because I am.
Do you think this gets to the point of, like even some of the more, I don't know what they'd be called, contemplative practices of like consciousness of like we're all in one, like is that kind of the highest level of this, is like we're all one being type thing,
shared consciousness?
Yeah, like even with what you're saying, like all of this is like there's something bigger, and once we accept that like we're all together in this, the better.
See, there's two school of thoughts there though, right?
Yeah.
There's the one school of thought that says God exists and he lives in each of us. And then there's the other school of thought that says, well, because we all have spirit, and when we come together, that creates God.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the two school of thoughts. I mean, it can get really heady. You have to you got to belly up to the family
to
bone.
figure it out, because I mean, I've been away from it for so long that it's still kind of really confusing to me.
But in my mind, you're searching, right? And you're open to grace, if you will. And you're open to like, all right, what really is life all about, period?
Which is spirituality, right?
All of the above.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. God does not preclude shared consciousness. Shared consciousness does not necessarily imply God. Like, I think that you can have this. I mean, if that's of your faith, then by all means, But also, I think that you can explore this idea of shared consciousness and the spiritual element of that. And if you don't want to call that God, then I think that's again another element of like curiosity that you can go down that path to try to.
I think that's where I was kind of going. I had this conversation. This is with my therapist, but of like it almost seemed like this was the split, is you either believed one or the other of those. And what I was thinking, and this is what I got pushed back on, is like, no, many people believe both. Right? Mm-hmm. You could believe in this higher consciousness and almost more of the like, I don't know what that would be, like the Eastern kind of side of things, like the more metaphysical shared consciousness. But you could also believe in a God and a higher power. You can do both. Where in my mind it was like, no, it has to be a split. You're either one or the other. And I think that was causing some conflict for me. Mm-hmm. Of like, oh, these are opposing views and I have to pick, And it's almost like, no, you can kind of piece it how it works for you.
Yeah.
It's the both and.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but I think also it's journey more than anything. Mm-hmm. It's journey, because you can have and know that there's a truth, but I think how you buy into that is part of your spiritual development. I think like what I believe today, I didn't believe 5 years ago.
Is that what it was?
I mean, well, no, but I mean, because that's spiritual development. And I think just like with intellect, you can have a concept and you can go total philosophy on it. You can go tangential thinking. You can just go crazy on one teeny weeny little concept, right? Same with religion. As your intellect develops and goes boom, so your spirituality develops and goes boom. And you get, the more open you are and more discerning you are, the more it resonates with you in a truthful way, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Brian's chewing.
What I was thinking about, and I've heard some people, actually it was, I think it's Arthur Brooks. And he was one of the first people that I heard kind of on this like midlife journey. And he at some point came back into, I think it was Catholicism. And now I've heard him say things like, I love Catholicism. And I was, what I think I don't get on that is like, what is it about it, or about any religion that you love? Like, what is, you know what I mean? Like, that whole thing just confused me as to what specifically, if it, is it all, what's that mean? It's so broad.
Have you really dived into it theologically? Have you done the research that
that's
different
probably
people,
why. Yeah.
I mean, that different people, I know, I have read many professors, I've studied with professors, and they started out in one place, and the more research they did and the more digging they did and the more this, that, and the other thing, way back into the ancients, they came to the same place.
But is it when you say you love like something that specific, like a religion, is it the tradition? Is it the belief structure? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
What do you
that's
think?
That's where I think I am still kind of like, wait. And that's where I thought kind of what the spiritual journey would be, like what you're saying is like, you know, once you start digging into it, then maybe that makes more sense.
But I don't think it's
I
just
just
the
never
digging,
heard the word
right?
love with it tied together. I was like, oh, that's
I don't think it's
interesting.
just that like that intellectual aspect of it. I think there is. It's not a accident, right? That so many religions have tradition. They have like specific practices, right? They have like certain motions. They have certain, chants, or like, I think that there's an element to that helps people evoke, right, spirituality for themselves. And that's why so many faith traditions have those elements to them. And so that could be, one of the things that he's talking about when he says, I love Catholicism, is there's lots of elements to it, whether sort of the intellectual component, like he's done the digging and like, yes, this tradition seems to me to resonate, or it's I like the structured nature of this, I like the leadership being, the priest model, the nun model, whatever. Like, I think there's lots of things that draw people to whatever brand, right, of organized religion for a reason, because it tunes into something that we sort of innately like connect to, right?
Yeah. When I think, and I don't know who I talked to about this, but it was, this is like everything. And this is kind of what Judi was saying, is like my beliefs. And then what broke with it was from a young age, some of the things I was hearing, I was like, that doesn't seem right anymore. And it was probably the really strict things, but to Judy's point, like, cause I didn't understand them. I was a kid. So when I got older, I was like, that no longer resonates, but I didn't get into the deeper tradition of it or dig into like the, I guess the historical aspects of it. I was just like, that concept that you are saying no longer resonates with me. So I'm just going to ditch it,
and that's the same,
learn about it. So it's interesting.
And that's the same exact thing with anything you think about, right?
Yeah.
You can be taught something, not in religion, not religiously, anything, and you go to school and you learn different things, but then you go out in the real world and you go, you know what? That's what mom and dad thought, or that's what so-and-so taught me. But guess what? This is what I have learned in my experience and who I am. And as I've developed, this is what I hear. Mom and dad didn't get it. Or mom and dad got it, but they didn't get it in a way that might be all of it. Like, how many of us have gone to college or whatever, and we come out of college and our parents look at us like we have three eyes, right? And and it's kind of like, well, but this makes sense. This is why. But to them, they didn't have all that information.
Right.
So and it's not all intellectual. They just didn't have that experience. They didn't have all that information. So how can they teach you that? And even if they did teach you that, you're still your own gig.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's part of development. We grow up in what we're taught, and then we rebel, or we go off on our own little way because we have to become, we're all connected And then we go, ugh, that's the crisis of adolescence, right? It's like, no, I'm not mommy's little champ anymore. I'm a man.
And still into my 50s, apparently, Judi.
Well,
but yeah.
Brian,
No,
you know what?
exactly.
Brian, it's a lifelong thing, honey. I'm at
Exactly.
it still, too. So,
Yeah. No, that's exactly it.
but that works for everything in life. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't it work for spirituality?
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. All right. Did that wrap it up? That was a pretty good one, Judi.
Yeah,
That you just did.
that was really good.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks.
Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
Wherever that is.
Whatever.
Where
whatever
Judi's
you-
pointing.
wherever
Like
your
and
feed
subscribe
is.
and put it in the chat.
We
you
really
next
need to
week.
look at that. What
I
do you
will.
want? Where can they write to? Can they write to us? Can they write to
Yeah,
us what they want?
Judy at
Comments.
gmail.com.
No.
We'll
No,
yeah,
but
we
our-
will figure that out.
No, but we have, aren't our websites listed and stuff? And if our websites
Yeah.
are listed, we have email through our websites, right?
Yeah.
We do.
Go to our websites.
Yeah.
Go to our websites. Send us an email. We're happy to accommodate.
I
Yeah.
will look at this week.
How's that?
We'll make this even easier.
Is that a pitch? I've
Oh,
been
that was
watching
so
too.
good, Judy.
I've been watching
We're
too
going to put
many.
that up in the front.
Do an infomercial, Judy.
I know, right?
You'll be up at 2 a.m.
Too many.
Judy's going to
Too
have
many
this
webinars. Too many.
little
I've been
Sham
watching.
wow.
sound bar that's going.
Pew, pew, pew.
All right. I'm going to stop
Have a
this.
good week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a good week, all. Bye.
Hey, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something we said resonated, made you laugh, or made you think, we'd love it if you share it with someone who might need it too. And if you're curious about going alcohol-free or just ready to feel more connected to yourself, check out This Naked Mind. Annie's work brought us all together, and we're so grateful for the impact it's had. On that note, a big thank you to Annie Grace and This Naked Mind for making this podcast possible. We'll see you next time on This Naked Chat.